My name is Uma Vaidyanathan, and I'm a biochemistry major.
My name is Cameron Reynoldson. I'm currently a computer science major.
My name is Terrence Winter. I'm a public health major.
My name is Miranda Weed, and I'm a biology, hopefully pre-med major.
My name is Austin Scheibmeyer. I am a neuroscience major.
My name is Merdul Madella, and I'm a computer science major.
My name is Ashley Kosick, and I'm a biochemistry BSA major.
Connecting with people on campus is very important as it allows you to learn from their experiences coming in from different high schools, and it's a great way to kind of learn what they are pursuing in the future, their career aspirations. It's kind of a way to learn about yourself and what you like to do.
It's important to understand where other people are coming from and to be able to connect with them, and so learning how to do this in college is just a great way to get started along that path.
And the small groups are designed to help you with that. They're designed to put people that are in your classes in a small group and, gear you up to do homework together and to study for exams together.
My small group definitely helped me in meeting new people who were in the same major as me, and also being able to form connections where I could study with them, or we could just really talk about kind of like our journey and the problems that we're having.
Having that small community, people I could go to, talk about anything with, and study with, struggle with, grow with, was very key in me developing as a student and as a person.
I think one of the best things about the small group experiences is that you can sympathize with everyone else who's in your small group. So maybe you're having a really hard week, or you're just not clicking very well with a certain professor. You can talk about that with all these other people who are in your group, and it really makes you feel like you have some sort of family on campus, which is really useful when you move away from home.
I would say don't be afraid to put yourself out there and take the initiative to join different groups and attend office hours. I know that was one of the ways, joining groups was one of the ways I was able to make a lot of friends, and then office hours helped me become better acquainted with the school and with the faculty here.
Whenever I had questions or concerns about different things like classes or scheduling or even extracurricular opportunities, I turned to my small group advisor. I knew from the start of school that my small group advisor was going to be there for me whenever I needed help, and I was also able to turn to my academic advisor, my counselor, because she was always available. She and I really clicked, and I feel like I was able to communicate with her very easily.
My advisor was a big resource. Being able to go talk to him whenever I needed to ask about future classes or current classes.
She was able to walk me through my degree plan, and she was accessible so that if I had questions, I can go back to her. So possible classes that I could have taken, or prerequisites, or even going to like visual and performing arts, she was able to help me through all of that. So she made my first round of registration extremely stress-free.
My academic advisor was really helpful for me personally because I was unsure of what type of degree I wanted to do. I knew the major that I was interested in, but different degree plans in natural sciences require different classes, and I didn't know what to take my first or second semester, so my advisor was really able to help me lay out a timeline and figure out what I needed to be taking when and when certain decisions needed to be made.
One of the experiences I had was I got to go into her office, and I was typical freshman. I was getting concerned about if this was a major that I really wanted to do, and she was able to provide me with all the different options, all the different tracks that I could do, all the different certificates I could partake in, and so that was a good experience.
When I transitioned from high school into college, one of the things that I was most concerned about was that I would have really impersonal professors or TAs who didn't really care much about the class and who wouldn't really be willing to help. But in general, I've definitely found that this isn't true.
One of the most memorable situations from a lecture was the first time I asked my CS professor, a question, and it was something that I didn't really understand the concepts that he was explaining. So before that, I always thought of myself as, man, everybody else in this class is smarter than me, and I don't know if I can ask questions because the professor's going to think I'm slacking, I'm not reading the textbook or whatever. So when I asked my question, and the first response he had was, wow, that's a good question, it moved me beyond the stage of, I shouldn't ask questions to, yeah, maybe I can, and it's okay because the professor, he thinks it's a good question, so it's probably not a dumb question.
They were definitely very approachable and very easy to talk to, and definitely they just wanted to help you. They wanted to know all of our questions, and they took all the time to make sure that every one of our questions was completely answered.
In my chemistry class, I had a really great experience with all the different TAs that are working for my professor. They have different office hours, which makes it extremely easy to get in and meet with the TAs. And my professor also gives the TAs practice problems that he wants them to specifically focus on. And these are extremely helpful for the tests. I always feel a lot more prepared after having gone to different TA sessions. And I think in general, the TAs have helped me figure out what in the class is most important.
It is very important to be connected to university, but you kind of have to put yourself out there. And it's extremely rewarding because here at our university, we're very creative people. If there's a club on campus or an organization that you care about or are mildly interested in, it exists somewhere here, or you can start it for yourself.
Coming into UT, you have a lot of freedom in the different degrees you could choose and the different organizations you can get involved in. And sometimes it's very important to prioritize which interests you really love and pursue those strongly.
So in order to connect to UT, I've joined a couple different organizations. I'm in 3 different organizations, 2 of which are kind of pre-professional types of clubs, and one of which is a fun, kind of recreational club. I think it's important to have a mixture of things that you're involved with at UT because it can be easy to be sucked into only academics, but there's so much more to the campus, and so I've really enjoyed doing that.
Okay. So one of the main ways I connected to UT was I took advantage of the opportunities during orientation and tabling outside the campus and around campus, and I discovered different organizations that I really wanted to be involved in, and I learned more about the campus. And also going to football games and volleyball games and different sporting events really boosts your spirit in the school, and this is a great opportunity to do that.
I think one of the most helpful ways to figure out where resources are on campus was through the information provided in my small group. My group did a really good job of showing us different databases online and talking to us about the health professions office or different places that you can go to get advising and counseling. And that was helpful because UT is such a huge campus, it can be hard sometimes to tell where you need to go. So when you have someone giving you advice, it's really useful.
The FIG helped me become better aware of what was available on campus.
One of the main ways I connected to resources on campus was through upperclassmen and my mentors in my small group.
There were a lot of unknowns when you come into college, and I think the small group has definitely helped me kind of understand how college works and move beyond the fact that I'm a deer-in-the-headlights freshman.
In high school, I always heard about the large intro classes, and it didn't hit me until I actually went to my first chemistry course where there were 400 students sitting in the classroom. And one of the ways I coped with not getting lost in such a huge classroom or huge class size was to go to TA office hours, professor office hours, and meeting with my small group and making study groups.
Okay. I think the biggest difference in terms of class size between high school and college was just how large some of your classes are at UT. I do have classes that are as few as 30 students, but one of my introductory classes has around 500 students. There are good and bad things about both, but what I found is that the huge class sizes aren't actually that intimidating because usually with a larger class size you have a lot more TAs and you have many different discussion sections that you can go to, and this is actually really helpful because it allows you better flexibility in your scheduling.
I guess I had a different idea of what it would be like. I definitely thought it was going to be more similar to high school than it kind of is. It's definitely a lot harder than I believed it was going to be.
For you with time management?
The main thing that changed for me was my study habits. I think in high school you received a lot of worksheets and homework and essays to do frequently, but in college you mainly have exams that determine your grade. So I learned that by studying sometimes ahead of class, or the material that would be covered in the next day in class would be a great way to kind of get ahead of the course and keep up with what you're learning by constantly reading the book or going through your notes. And this really relieved the amount of studying I would have to do before the exams, and this is a great way for me to master the material.
Definitely one of the biggest surprises for me has been the lack of structure. I mean, in high school we knew exactly what we were going to do. Everything was planned out to the minute, and you did it, and there was really no variables in terms of how your day went. But in college, there's so much freedom and there's so much lack of structure that it's something that every freshman has to cope with, and it really defines how you progress through your collegiate career. Can you make the best of that freedom, and can you make yourself a better person, a better student?
My personal learning has changed. I think in high school there were a lot of things to do in terms of homework and exams, but in college it's kind of, you have a lot of freedom, and so you have to study for your exams on time. You can't save everything for the last day. And so what I did was I studied every night of what I learned, and sometimes I got ahead of the class, and this really helped me stay balanced with the course load.
I think one of the things that kind of caught me off guard when I came to UT was the number of emails that I would be getting and just the amount of information that I'd be getting. The first couple of weeks kind of seemed like information overload, but you really learn to sort through everything and to figure out what's important from what people are telling you. One of the things that kind of caught me off guard when I came to UT Austin was the amount of information that would be provided to me and kind of thrown at me during the first couple of weeks. During the first couple of weeks, there are a lot of organizations that are trying to get your attention. You have all of your classes starting up, you're trying to figure out where those classes are, and you can be getting a lot of email notifications at all times of the day. So I think one thing that is important to keep in mind is to understand how to prioritize what is being thrown at you so that you can understand what things you want to address and what things maybe aren't as important.
I think that was my biggest concern coming into college from high school, was trying to figure out the balance between my academics and my extracurricular activities.
Also, I found out how, I guess, easy it is to get involved, that everyone is very welcoming whenever you want to join a group. All the officers of the groups that I've joined have been very good at trying to get you integrated into the group.
The amount of just pure activity that's going on is something I wasn't really used to, but I was pleasantly surprised in the fact that everything's so accessible.
I didn't really know how I was going to meet new people, but in the first few weeks, from whenever I moved in to whenever classes start, there's a lot of events going on that you can go to, whether it's volleyball games or organization fairs or things that, if you're living in a dorm, the dorm puts on. And it's a really good way to go out there and meet people. It's more geared to meeting people. I live in one of the dorms, and I know in the first week or two, they had a lot of, they had speed friending, so you could go out and you could meet people. And that was a good way that I met a lot of people that I still talk to now.
One of the adjustments that I had to make when coming to UT was kind of making a new group of friends. I still definitely keep in touch with my friends who have come to UT with me, but I found that it's really almost easier and also really important to meet people who are also in the same classes as you and in the same college as you, because they understand your experiences and they're able to help you in case you need help in any way.
Oh, one of the main things, I would advise students to try to balance their extracurriculars with their course load. I know there are so many different organizations on campus, and sometimes you can get lost in extracurriculars, so courses are very important too, so learn to balance both of them and kind of explore new things like research and maybe an ensemble or an instrument or a dance group or something different, so from what you did in high school.
So what I was surprised by most when I came to UT Austin was how different it is from the rest of Austin.
Just walking along Speedway and seeing thousands of people going from place to place, it was really surreal, but getting into the classroom and seeing all my peers and like the same kind of people I would see in my calc class, going to my bio class, going to my chem class, I was surprised that I would feel kind of like just at home.
It's such a big city, so there's so many things to do. ACL, Barton Springs, you can run to the Capitol at midnight, and there's so many things to do, and that's a departure from a lot of what we saw back at home. So that's one of the biggest discoveries and one of the benefits of Austin.
I feel like being on campus is kind of its own little world, and that's a good thing for me personally. The city is really interesting, but having lived here all my life, coming to UT Austin, I was kind of like, oh, this isn't going to be very different. But it's proven to be pretty different. So having an idea of what classes you need to take based upon your degree plan can be really helpful because it helps you create a timeline with your advisor or even by yourself as to what classes you need to be taking when, so that you can graduate in 4 years and feel confident in your plan. For example, a lot of degrees have many different prerequisites for upper division classes, so being able to plan out this schedule is important.
One of the main things I did with self-advising was I went online and I looked at the degree plans as well as the certificate programs, and this really helped me get a basic idea of the checklist of what courses I should take in order to pursue those degrees and certificates. Another thing I did was I went online to the degree audit, interactive degree audit, and it really helped me plan out what I should take in terms of what high school credit I had received and where to fill in the blanks in my degree.
So one self-advising tool that I found super useful was the degree plan checklist. Not only was I able to check off all of the credits I already had, but I was also able to plan out my next 4 years.
So in terms of self-advising, I think one of the best resources that the university offers, and every major has this resources that you can go online and you can look up degree plans. And I think that's the best resource that I have is at any point in time I can go look up, hey, is this course actually used for my degree or not? And whenever it comes to time to register for classes, that's one of the few things that I'm always looking at. I have a favorite of it's on my favorites, and it's very useful in terms of mapping out your schedule for the next 4 years. Can I graduate in 4 years? What do I need to do? Do I need to take summer courses? And that's one of the things I have on my wall is I have a little poster of like, this is what I need to take sophomore year, this is what I need to take junior year, and I have it mapped out.
Also, one thing that I found was the interactive degree audit, which is where you can see what classes you need to take for your major and if you're on the right track to graduating on time in 4 years.
One of the most helpful self-advising tools that I've used is a website called MyEDU, and it has a bunch of different classes from UT listed on it, and you can register for classes on this website and it will make and plan out a schedule for you. I found this to be really useful because it helps you visualize all of your options, and there's even an autofill button so it will show you what class periods you could take a certain class. And it also has grade distributions, which can sometimes be helpful in determining which professor may be best for you.
Someone I would go to for advice would be my mentor of my small group. She has the same major as me, and she was often a friend who could just go to lunch with me, and she gave me great advice of what to do, what courses to take, and often she would just be a great person to talk to.
I think the way in which my small group helped me most in the transition from high school into college was that it provided me with a group of people that I could go to whenever I had questions or concerns. And it also provided me with a group that I could easily study with. We all knew each other's schedules because we figured that out at the beginning of school, and that made it really easy to have kind of a team that would be with you through at least the first semester, if not the second semester as well.
So one piece of advice that I would give to an incoming freshman is definitely to take advantage of the opportunities that you're given. So whether it be to reach out to a peer that might know more than you, or to a professor, or to join a club or get a leadership position, I think you should definitely take advantage of it because it might lead to something in the future that you might not have gotten otherwise.
I was really surprised about the amount of kind of action that happens on campus on a day-to-day basis where as long as you walk around, especially in the kind of Speedway, Jester, Gregory area, you can run into something cool every single day.
I think one of the best assets of exploring new ideas, especially in the field of science, is that exploring new things, learning about different professors' research and what they're being involved with really helps you get a better idea of what you might be interested in. In high school, it doesn't really seem like the world is quite as dimensional as it is in university, and so when you come to Texas, you can really discover how many options you have and what areas there are to explore.
This is your opportunity to explore different things. It's college. And I would recommend that you explore something other than sciences, maybe take a business class or a English class or something different than what you're taking as kind of a relief from science. And also, I would say pursue organizations that you didn't do in high school. Maybe it would be a dance team or an ensemble or an instrument. These are great ways to relieve stress and meet new people on campus.
Great. And that might be the ending of the video.
In order to incorporate experiential learning into my degree plan, I hope to get a job this summer in the field of pharmacy as a pharmacy technician. I don't know where yet, but we will see. I really want to do this so that I can decide whether or not I want to be on the pre-pharmacy degree plan, because there are specific classes that I need to take for that professional school. And so this, in combination with different volunteering experiences, like continuing at the food bank where I volunteered for a couple of years, and going out with my community group from church, I hope that will also be very beneficial.
I'm going to ask you to do it.
One of the ways that I hope to incorporate experiential learning into my degree plan is by getting an internship this summer. I'm very interested in the field of pharmacy, so I'd like to become a pharmacy technician this summer. I would like to do this in order to decide whether pharmacy is a professional school option for me, and there are different requirements, say, between pharmacy and medical school, so I need to decide which path I'm most interested in taking.
Awesome.
One of the main things about research is you make a lot of mistakes, and these are great learning opportunities for you in terms of what you need to change. Different small little details in science really do matter, and so you really learn that failure isn't as bad as it seems, because you can overcome this hurdle and learn from your mistakes, and this really helps you grow as a scientist.
That was fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, that was right.
Through the FRI program, I also really discovered my passion for research, and I learned that I really love biochemical research in particular, and so I joined the Aptamer stream this semester, and I'm pursuing it in the future.
Since beginning college, I feel like I've become more open to different types of people, different backgrounds, and just understanding what their life story is. It's really interesting because you meet a lot of people who are from different places at UT, and that just adds a lot of variety to your life.
It was a lot different moving to Austin, which is so large and so different from where I'm from. But for me, what really helped me get used to Austin was just going out and exploring, like doing some of the more like touristy things in Austin, like going to South Congress, going to Zilker Park, just doing all the things that I guess a true Austinite would do. So that's been very fun, and it's helped me get used to my surroundings and become more comfortable in the city.
Coming into college, that was one of the most important things people were telling me. They said, you've got to stay in shape. We've all heard of the Freshman 15. And so I immediately joined the triathlon club just because it sounded like something I wanted to do. And after also adding to my list of courses and office hours, their practices, I've been attending as many practices as I possibly can.
One of the ways in which I really explored my interest in science was exploring different research labs on campus and looking at what different professors were doing in research. And this was a great way to get a hands-on experience and a real-life application to what you're learning in your science classes. So.
Wait
If I could give one piece of advice to incoming freshmen, it's to really explore the different clubs and opportunities that are all on campus. You'll have a harder time deciding which clubs you don't want to join than you will deciding which clubs you are interested in, just because there's so many different options, so many things that you can do, and I think that's really exciting, and that's something that you should really take advantage of while at Texas.